Welcome back to the System Stack. This is your host Webhav, and today in this video I'm going to talk about ClickUp and specifically about ClickUp pricing plans. So stay tuned and watch this video till the end because this is going to be the only video you need to watch in order to understand the pricing transparently and completely. So let's get going. So for those of you who don't know, ClickUp is basically a software which helps you collaborate with your team. This is useful for all business owners, especially if you are an online first business owner, if you have a team and you have different time zones, if you are working remotely, and typically softwares are designed to solve a very specific problem. And ClickUp, even though it is marketed as it is heavily marketed as a project management software, it actually is a software that solves problems much beyond that, and that's why the landing page says it is a software to replace all software. So in future videos I will talk about what are the features of this, but for now you can understand it is not just a project management software, but it is also a place where you can collaborate, communicate, share documents, and record your meetings and do multiple things. So let's get to the pricing. So these are the pricing plans, and this is the yearly pricing. If you decide on to pay the monthly pricing, that's slightly higher. My recommendation is, if you want to go for a paid ClickUp plan, pick a yearly pricing. That's best. So let me explain you about all the plans. But before going there, I want you to know that ClickUp has a very transparent policy, and they have a very good customer support. So I have been using this software for more than 1 year now, and I've had no problems with the support. So when they say that it is 100% money back guarantee, they really mean it, right? But for many of you, you might not even need a paid plan. So there is a free forever plan, which is a very good place to start, except for one caveat, that there is only 60 MB of storage available, which is a tad bit low if you are in a habit of attaching images, documents, and if you are doing much more than just plain simple task management, right? So hear me out. If your requirement is only plain simple task management, probably ClickUp is not the best solution for you right now, because it is too overwhelming. The UI is it's going to take you down, and it's going to take a while for you to get used to of using the UI. So for a simple solution, there are other solutions. I'll talk about it in the forthcoming videos. But if you are looking for a hardcore project management solution with the intention of collaborating it with the other people in your team, then go ahead with this software. But then most probably the free plan won't be sufficient for you, because there is very little storage available, right? So if you're not attaching anything and not using the other features other than project management, then maybe you will be able to use this free plan for a few weeks or months, just to get the hang of how the software is, right? So this plan gives you unlimited tasks, which is great, unlimited members, which is also great, and you have an option to set up two-factor authentication, which is basically an additional security measure. It gives you collaborative docs. So I'm sure you must have seen Google Docs, Google Sheets. So similar to Google Docs, there is an inbuilt doc inside this software. So you can create all these documents, you can save these documents inside the doc folder, and you can share these documents, you can tag these documents into the different tasks and projects. So it's super native, right? So you don't need to shift to Google Documents, Google Workspace, type something, then share the link, and then you don't need to do all that. You can do it natively inside the app. Then there are Kanban boards, which are essentially horizontal boards for a very visual it's a sort of very visual way of seeing where your tasks are, what is hindering, what is blocking, right? So this is also available. And sprint management is not relevant right now. Calendar view calendar view is available where you can see the tasks on a calendar basis, and you can drag and drop tasks and set up your calendar basically, right? And you have a very basic custom field manager, and you have in-app video recording, but as I said, there is only 60 MB of storage. You will not be able to do much of that, but yes, you will be able to give it a shot, give it a try, and sort of understand how it works. Then you have 24/7 support available, and then you have the option of one form. So forms are basically very similar to Google Forms, but in when somebody fills your Google form or any other form, the responses are recorded on a Google Sheet or on a different database. So if we want to set up a form and we want the responses to be recorded inside of the ClickUp, inside of a project. For example, let's say if you are a digital marketing agency owner and you have created a form for consultation, right? So you're giving consultations to your prospective clients, so they can fill up that form, and the responses of that form will automatically come inside your ClickUp. So you won't be required to go to Google Sheets, manually see who has filled up my consultation, and you will be able to arrange these inquiries in Kanban boards, sort of a pipeline view, right? So there are multiple uses of it. This is just to make you understand what do you mean by a form. So you can have one form for the entire workspace. So this is a super limited, but I would say treat this plan like a free trial. It's an unlimited trial, but it's a trial. There are limited features and storage space is super limited. You might be able to get away with it for a few weeks without exploring the other features. But the moment you start attaching images, videos, documents, and start video recording, then the 60 MB storage will exhaust within no time, right? So for most of you, this plan will be the most suitable plan, and this is the plan which I am using. Although there are a few features missing in this plan which are available in this, but I feel for now my requirement is fully justified with the unlimited plan. So in the unlimited plan, there are all features available which are a part of the free forever plan, but there are also some more features. So you have multiple spaces, folders, and forms, right? So you can create multiple spaces and designate different areas of your business or personal life. You can create folders. You can store resources. Folders are just like Google Drive folders, right? And you can have unlimited forms. This is a major unlock, right? And then you have unlimited Gantt charts. I don't use it. I'm pretty sure there are many people who don't use it, but it's a good feature to have. If you are a big fan of Gantt charts, then this is definitely useful for you. There are unlimited integrations. So ClickUp can directly integrate with a lot of apps like Google Calendar and stuff like that. So in the free plan, there were no integrations, which was kind of like a downside. For example, if you have 2 meetings scheduled today, and ClickUp fetches that data from Google Calendar and displays it on your today's list, then that's a major visual reminder for you to sort of plan your day in a certain way, right? Because otherwise you need to keep track of Google Calendar separately and your task list separately, right? So there are many examples of integrations. We can talk about it in a separate video, but this is a very, very important feature. And then the most important here is unlimited storage. Literally, you can attach any damn thing. You can create as long videos as possible. You can attach as heavy files as possible. There is no limit to a single file size that can be attached. There is no limit to the number of files that can be attached, right? There are unlimited custom fields. This is also important. When you start working on the projects, you will realize that each project requires certain specific custom fields which are not available in natively in the app. You need to design it, right? And you can do so much with the unlimited custom fields feature, which is not available in the free plan, right? Then there is time tracking for those of you who need to track time of your teammates, or maybe you want to track time for yourself. How long have you taken in working on a task? So that's a native time tracking. Then we have goals and portfolio management. This is a bit complicated when we talk about higher level goals, and you know, when there are multiple projects which are contributing to a certain goal, then we talk about goals and portfolio. And then you can have guests with permission control. So if you want to add people, if you want to share your projects with people, but you don't want them to do anything there, just for having a view of that project, you can do that with a guest feature. And the best use case for this is if you are an agency owner, and if you want to create a client portal where clients can have a look at how their work is being, you know, progressed, for example. Or maybe you are somebody like a, you know, construction agent, and you are building a site, and you want the client to have a look at, you know, have a bird's eye view at what's happening, what's planned in this month, what's planned in the next month for their site. So you can make them a guest with a permission control of viewing, and then they can have a look, and they can be sure that, you know, the work is progressing as per the timeline, right? And there are many more features, but these were the most relevant features. So now that we've discussed the free and unlimited plans, let's move on to the business plan, which is $12 a month, billed yearly, right? So this is best suited for mid-sized teams, which comes with unlimited dashboards. So dashboard is a place where you can basically you know, display multiple aspects of your work, and you can customize it and sort of have a bird's eye view of what's happening with your business or that particular project. It's very similar to a car dashboard, which has, you know, a bird's eye view of everything that's happening with the car. If there are some errors, it flashes. If there is some other issue, it gives an indication. So dashboards are you know, you can choose to customize it your way with the very useful cards which automatically keep updating, and it's an amazing feature to have. And then you have unlimited message history and unlimited activity views. This is very important because many a times you need to understand, you need to see what's the activity history of a particular project or a task. For example, a task was created 1 month back. You want to see what has happened in that last one whole month. So you can you know, have a look at that task history and understand it in a single view that, okay, this has been done in the last 1 month, right? Similarly, sometimes you need to see what a particular person in your team has done in the last 1 month. So that is also possible with unlimited activity view, because you can filter those views with a particular team member. And then you get unlimited timeline views, which is a very different way of viewing a project based on, you know, dates and what's blocking what. So yeah, I personally don't use this feature, but this is a very useful feature, and I'm sure you know, the more complicated your project structure is, the more useful this view is. And then you have webhooks and automation integrations. So you get custom webhooks. So for example, you can use Zapier and then, you know, do your own automations, your own integrations, you know, with it. And this looks like a new addition because it was not there earlier. 5K automations per month, you know, because ClickUp is also heavily investing in their own AI, and ClickUp agents are already working inside this app to, you know, sort of automate a lot of things. So these automations, 5K of these automations every month, are available to you at no extra cost. And this is also a great feature, mind mapping. Mind maps are great for you for brainstorming, and the best part about these mind maps is they are real-time mind maps. For example, if you are 3 teammates, you are collaborating on a single mind map, you're adding your information in real time. You can create tasks inside of mind map, you can create task projects inside of mind map, you can interlink those tasks, you can add notes, you can add attachments. And they're not just, you know, dead mind maps like those mind mapping software. They're actual real breathing mind maps. And in fact, there are some people who use this particular mind map as their only task management methodology, because they are so visual. They want to, you know, structure their projects in terms of in a very visual way, and they do that and they add tasks, and then they add dates and recurrences to those. And then you have whiteboards are like just what they mean. You can collaborate, you can scribble, you can write, and you can do a lot of stuff. So I believe those are the most important features here. And they do have an enterprise plan, which means basically if you have a very custom requirement, or you want some sort of white labeling, or maybe you have some other thing in mind and it's a big project, then you can maybe contact their sales and talk to them about what you want, right? So that's about ClickUp pricing. Incidentally, this is my first YouTube video, so I believe there must be many errors. Multiple of them you might have already spotted by now. I apologize for them. Hopefully I'll keep on improving as I post regularly. But I am really good with this software. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I will try my best to respond to them as fast as possible. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next video.